We are back
We're live.
live with another big one. Back in the basement, new background, but
Same basement.
same basement, same attendance.
New books though, but start I think with the attendance. We'll
Start
make
with
sure everyone's
attendance.
here.
You wanna read us off
Sure. Paul,
here?
Steve,
Here.
everyone else.
We're 0 for a few in a row.
I think it'll change though. I think Call just set the bar so high that
People are
people are
nervous.
intimidated.
People are nervous to come
Yeah.
in now because they're like, oh, I have to research the book and do all this stuff. I can't just like show up.
I can't blame him either. I was a bit nervous like coming back without Call. Be like,
Yeah,
how
it
can
took
we
us a
keep this thing
few.
going? Yeah.
It took us a few to get into a rhythm. Start us off. Do I have one carryover from last episode that I wanted to fill in here. Fauci fact that I have since learned since
Nice.
our episode.
Love it.
So Fauci's replacement. I want to get his name right. So I wrote his name down here. Jeffrey Taubenberger.
Okay.
So so we think like, oh, Fauci, he's gone now. Like all
Yeah.
this stuff is over. How do you think Jeffrey Taubenberger got his like bones in the science world?
Big pharma.
So we kind of talked about how if you're a homeless researcher and your job secure homelessness, you actually incentivize to make it worse, so that
Yeah.
way you get more money.
Yeah.
We didn't even say it was like same as virologists. Like if you're a virologist and you go like this and all viruses are like gone,
Yeah.
you're out of a job.
Yeah.
So like your job is essentially to make scarier and scarier viruses, so that way you can kind of like come up with vaccines or
Yeah.
solutions for them, and you can continue to get funding. So this guy had a great idea where he said Alaska has permafrost areas
Yeah.
where like
There could be dangerous viruses trapped.
human remains
Yeah.
from the 1918 Spanish flu
Okay. Let's
are
bring that
there.
back.
He went to Alaska, dug up dead bodies from Spanish flu,
Yeah.
extracted the Spanish flu virus from the dead bodies, and recreated it, like reprinted the DNA.
Yeah.
So now essentially anyone who has access to this, like, technology,
Yeah.
can print the Spanish flu virus, the DNA, and just kind of recreate it and spread it back into the world.
Yeah. It's
So that's the kind of guy who's in charge now after
yeah.
Fauci. So like in 10 years, we'll probably read a book about him
Yeah.
and it'll be the same exact thing that Fauci did. So we're
It
not
is it's
making
crazy. And
progress.
I think like Trump has been a little bit weird with that, where like he calls everyone like a crook and a fraud, but then he like seems to replace them with just
Crooks and frauds.
crooks and frauds. Like,
Yes, anybody, but I don't want to go too much on tangent, but I just figured,
yeah, no,
let's put
that's
that out there and wait on Jeffrey Taubenberger. Because
doesn't
remember
sound
that name.
doesn't sound great though.
He sounds like a villain
Yeah,
already,
it's
so
very concerning.
yeah, right? Like, Jesus Christ.
Sounds like he
Um,
was probably in the Epstein files, probably as well.
we should
Yeah.
fact check that.
All right, though. Two books not about Fauci.
Very different topics today, so
Very
people who are
different.
tired of hearing us rant about that,
Yeah.
you get a break.
You're gonna get a totally different rant though, which could be considerably
It
worse.
could be.
So, and then I
I'm
think
very interested to see what you think about both of these books.
yeah. So I think we said we have to start with Electro-boy.
Right.
Do you want to do the full title?
Yeah, let me do that. So it was written by Andy Behrman, and essentially he grew up in like 80s and 90s, and it's a memoir about his life.
Yeah, from Wardell, New Jersey, which I thought was interesting. So close to
Yeah.
around here. But really spent all of his time in New York and traveling overseas for his job.
So we got Electroboy, a memoir of mania by Andy Behrman. So essentially the story it's his story of his own life. He's a manic depressive, which is not really depression, it's like mania.
Just
And
like high ups,
yeah,
low
the book
downs.
kind of starts with almost like a diary of one of his days, and he's like, wake up, feel the need to go to Tokyo, book a flight, go to Tokyo, get on the plane, need like
Need to be back in 24 hours, but
yeah,
decide to stop in Paris and then,
stop in Paris on the way home to see a friend for lunch. So he's kind
yeah,
of like almost like addicted to like this high of like always being like 100% on, of like just needing to go above and beyond crazy on like everything he does.
yeah. And it's our second memoir. The first one was the
Memoir.
memoir.
Yeah.
The first one was JD Vance,
JD Vance.
and that was it, right?
You might be able to say Jack Black,
Oh, yeah.
right? I kind of like. So, what do you, like overall? What are your thoughts on Electro Boy? And then we'll kind of go. We'll get into detail on it.
I think at times it was like hard to even read. And like there's a couple of times where I was reading it at work and I was like, this is too inappropriate to be even reading at work. Or I was like reading in the doctor's office and then I'd like come across like a chapter where you'd just be like, what the fuck? Like, if someone's ever heard of this book, they're gonna be like, why is this guy reading it? That's how I
Right,
feel right
right.
now. Fortunately, I don't think anyone ever has heard of it.
No,
Not many.
very few ratings on
But
Goodreads.
then it also had times where I was like, I gotta see what happens. I've really enjoyed reading it and going back to it and like following the story. Like I felt like I needed to know what happened. So I was like really torn. This is one of the books that I didn't give a rating because at times I was like, I love this. And at times I'd be like embarrassed to say that I was reading it.
Yeah, so I think we actually might be aligned on this one because I enjoyed reading it. Overall, I liked it. I have a few gripes
Yeah.
about certain parts of it.
Okay.
Um, but what I liked about it was like I feel like it gave me mania to read it.
I agree.
Like it was written like so fast paced, like you
Yeah.
can tell he's like jumping from one thing to the next. He's like, I saw this thing on the floor. Next thing you know, I'm cleaning my apartment and I'm scrubbing with a
Yeah.
toothbrush every corner of the bathroom. And I
Yeah.
go through and I look in the vacuum to see what vacuumed up. And there was some lint in here and some hair. And he gets like really excited about this. And like, I'm literally like almost like cleaning our house now because I'm
Yeah.
like in that like vibe.
No, it definitely gave it some positive elements. Like I wrote down that it almost felt like the way he was describing how he would see the world was almost like you're on mushrooms, that it's like extreme highs. Colors are like,
But like mixed with cocaine probably and
yes,
like
mixed with
meth
a
and
bunch of
like
other things. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like there was elements of it where I was just like, ah, it seems like almost like a good way to live your life. And then there'd be times where I just be like, this is the most ridiculous. How is he still alive? You
yeah.
know?
Well, started off like he was a normal kid and grew up in the suburbs with like good parents,
Smart kid,
smart, like
good
super smart.
imagination.
Yeah, like definitely had OCD as a kid, like the way he would like pack luggage and like clean his room. He would like take
Yeah,
everything out of his room, like deep scrub his room and then put
yeah.
everything back in, even as like a 10-year-old.
Didn't like hanging out with like other 10-year-olds, would only like hang out with his dad a lot. And
Yeah, that was a little concerning probably.
yeah,
But it didn't seem like he was gonna like essentially go up and fly off the rails and grow up the way that he did.
yeah,
And then it kind of follows him he moves to New York City and he starts just like jet setting around the world. He starts a PR firm,
yeah.
and he's like really good at making money.
He's
Like
like an art dealer first, right? And then his sister has the PR firm, I thought, but I could be wrong.
he,
His sister had the PR
mm,
firm, and then she like brought him in, and they started making a ton of money. But I thought he was kind of like art dealing a little bit before
he might
that.
have done a little bit of art dealing first, because then he definitely goes back to it
Yeah,
at a certain point.
but he's like omnisexual. So he's like essentially turned on by like everything, like guys, girls, watching other guys and girls. So he's
Yeah,
like hypersexual, which is like most of the uncomfortable parts in the book will be like just like can't believe that that's real type stories where like he's in New York and like some of the things that you would know about where you talk about like phone sex lines, and this is like the 80s,
hmm
so it's like pre cell phones and all that type of stuff. So you would be talking about like calling phone lines or whatever they're called. That there was like theaters where like guys would just be like jerking off and everyone would be watching, like just kind of weird, like seedy underbelly New York City
yeah, and he was
3 a.m. stuff. And he was like very involved in it.
very involved. He would kind of do that. He would just go to one of these weird like gay bars at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
Then he would like walk to a diner and have breakfast at like 5 a.m. And like he would stay up all night and then he
yeah.
would stay up all the next day. He'd be up for 2 to 3 days at a time.
And he even like becomes a dancer at one point where like very like impromptu, like meets a dancer at one of the shows and he's like, you could do this if you want to.
Yeah,
And he's just
yeah, I
like, yeah,
forgot.
I'll try it. So he like does one of the shows where he like comes out and takes off his clothes and then just like starts jerking off in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
Just like, and like that's all written in the book, like very in detail, step by step
So this is
of
my
his
gripe.
recollection.
This is
Recollection.
my gripe.
Yeah.
He claims he's like bisexual, turned on by everything, girls, guys, all this
Yeah.
stuff. He is some sexual encounters with girls,
Yeah.
and it's like one sentence where it's like we met and we went out.
Yeah.
And then his at least five or six
Yeah.
very in detail sexual encounters with guys
Hmm.
are chapters long in
Yeah.
detail of what they're doing, the veins on this guy's you know
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
and what they're wearing, the guy's eyes, his cheekbones, his hair,
Yeah.
his name, all of this stuff is in detail. And if it's a girl, it's like,
Nothing.
yeah, we went out.
Yeah.
Like it's literally nothing.
No,
And
I
like,
agree. I feel like I learned nothing new about like guys and girls hooking up, although I hope that I would know a decent amount. But like I learned 50 new things about when like two gay guys, like that it's just like he talks in such detail about like, how they're just like they literally like there's so many scenes where they're just like they both just start jerking off independently of
yeah,
one another, like and then he's like, then we move to jerking each other off, and it's just like there's so much of that in this book that it was like so uncomfortable.
it was very uncomfortable to read and like not super necessary because
I think,
other parts of the book I was really liking, and then
yes,
he would stop and like really hyper focus on this weird sex scene,
yeah.
and then I'm like trying to read it before bed, and it's like I don't want to be reading
And it's
this.
the opposite of what we were saying with like a little bit of like when you write your own story that you'd want to like, you know,
True,
like
yeah,
he makes himself out. I think almost like he almost like makes himself to come across as worse probably as a person than he actually was.
yeah.
Just even based off of like the end when he's being sentenced and like how many friends he has and all this stuff. Like he makes it seem like he's like just the worst person, like a total disaster, like stealing, cheating,
He's definitely. It was weird how he had so many friends
so many
all the time.
friends.
He was always like very. He made it seem like he was always like very popular
Did have
in like the
a
night
girlfriend a
crowd.
lot,
He had a girlfriend.
which was also like thrown into the book that was shocking. Like after these gay sex things where he's talking about like literally doing a sex show and like jerking off another guy. He's like, my girlfriend's coming up to visit. We've been together for like 2 years. But
Yeah,
I
he was
was
like,
just like,
that's
what?
what I like. He would throw in like the
Yeah,
girlfriend thing and then never talk about it again.
yeah.
And the guy stuff was like
And he would say like, oh, she had a really good body, but he'd really never talk in detail.
no details.
Maybe that was because like that's like unflattering for a girl, but gay guys are more out in the open about that type of stuff. So like when he's writing the story, but he like really didn't
It didn't seem like he
like
was
he was holding back. Yeah,
holding back about
yeah,
anything. Um, but yeah, like he was very good at keeping friends and somehow with his mania and like even like sexual stuff, like continuing to meet new people to do all this stuff with.
yeah.
Like, I don't know how people were trusting him because he was like very,
Like
his moods
manic.
would change a lot. He would get like really angry very quickly, or he would just go on a thing where he had to like, yeah, fly to Tokyo, then stop in Austria on the way home and go to Vienna and then fly back and clean his apartment. And
Yeah,
then, he would purposely book like 10 appointments in one day just to see if he could like make it all work. And like,
yeah.
that's like how his brain
I
works.
know he loved like the thrill of that. Like the
Yeah.
thrill of not knowing if he was gonna have enough money for rent and being kicked out of his apartment
Yeah, he
and
kept buying more expensive places that he knew he couldn't afford just because that was thrilling to him. Because he would have to figure out a way to pay for it. And then
yeah,
he would go and do like sex work or PR work, which
yeah.
I didn't know. Like dentists have PR
I didn't know that
people
either.
and
Yeah,
like doctors had PR people. Like he
yeah,
was working PR for like doctors and dentists and nutritionists and
yeah.
like all kinds of people I didn't know
I
had
guess it
PR
makes sense
agents.
because you're just getting them. You're essentially just getting like stories written about them in like local newspapers, and that's
Yeah,
essentially works with
or
ads that are
getting
like
them
free
onto like
advertising.
Oprah or
Yes,
something, and
yeah,
then all of a sudden you made it big, and you read
yes,
a book, and
yeah,
I mean it makes sense. But he was like really good at doing that. So like clearly he was like good at talking to people. He would go to a bar and just start talking to somebody,
yeah,
and talk to random people on the street and stuff like that.
even with the selling like the art that he was obviously like, able to do that, not even having that
Yeah.
much of a background in it.
And he got into the art scam. That I like didn't fully understand. Like I get why he would do it
Yeah.
because it's like a thrill. So essentially, he started working for this artist who was like kind of a bonehead,
Kobayashi.
Kobayashi.
Which also confused me that sometimes he called him Kobayashi and sometimes he called him Mark. And like Mark is such a like Kobayashi, I'm imagining is like this Japanese guy
Yep.
that he describes as like literally wearing like blouses and
Very like
platform
out there.
shoes.
Yeah, like
Yeah. And like just,
performative.
yeah, it's like just wild. And then other times he calls him Mark. And it's just like
Yeah.
Mark's not very happy with me. And I'm just like it took
Yeah.
me a little while to be like, who is this Mark guy?
Right. Like so, he started working for Mark and essentially selling art, and he like pumped up the business like big time. Was doing really good. And then just one like random worker out of nowhere was like, "Hey, let's scam this guy,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And I guess that's the thrill for him.
He
So
like took some time to think about it too, and then he came back
it
and
was
was
like the
just
only
like,
time he's
let's
thought
do
about anything,
anything.
which
Yeah.
is weird. And
But
then,
before that, can we talk about the
yeah,
scene with Allison where she like bangs one of his friends in front of him?
yeah,
Like I said, like
mhm,
the like the first part of this book, it just is like so uncomfortable that like even you finally like make it past the gay stuff, and then you're just like, all right, nice, like Allison's back in town, you know, we should be good for a little while. And then all of a sudden it's like as soon as Allison's back in town, like he talks about how like they meet their friend and he's always kind of had a thing for Allison, and then one night they're all drinking and then he kind of like looked, they were like getting cozy on the couch, and then like he looked at uh
the guy.
the guy, yeah, and pretty much like was like, is this okay? And he was like, kind of gave him like the go ahead. And then Allison looked at her boyfriend and was like, is this okay? And he's like, yeah. And then he pretty much just like watched them have sex. And then after I was expecting some like big fallout, and he was just like, it was like it turned him on, I guess, in the moment. But then afterward, he was like, I was weird. And then we didn't talk about it for a while.
Yeah, it was shit. It's kind of like how he did things. It was
But it's
like
also like he was cheating on her with all these guys.
multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Like he was going like to multiple people's houses. He was calling these sex lines, having people come over like like multiple times a day. It wasn't just
Yeah.
like a one-off thing where he
No.
needed to like
Yeah.
do
So
something.
it's just like very like his there wasn't a lot of like justifications for those types of things. Like he justified a lot of like the
Mm.
art world stuff and like justified the money and tried to justify things his way, and I like the thrill of this, I like the thrill of that. But a lot of the sexual things were just unjustified,
Yeah,
seemingly out of nowhere, random.
I think it was like he just needed to like be feeling something, whether it was like good, bad, crazy, and then if something came up that would like scratch that itch,
Yeah.
he would just do it and not
Yeah.
he'd like not think it through at all.
All right, so back to Kobayashi World. Do you want me to lay the
Kobayashi,
foundation for that? So Kobayashi, Mark.
Mark, he's doing a good job for Mark, it seems, but like they never fully trust each other. Like Mark,
Yeah,
for some reason, even though like Andy's killing it for him,
yeah.
they're making tons and tons of money selling these paintings around the world. Um, he never fully trusts him, which I didn't fully understand.
And then he starts feeling like he's making too much money because they have like a 90-10 split.
Right.
So he thinks like 10% is too much when all of a sudden they're getting checks for like $200,000.
Yeah.
He's getting a check for $20,000, which doesn't seem that crazy of the $200,000, but
Right. I think
like 90-10, that seems,
it
if you're
seems,
upset about 90-10,
yeah, for commission for
yeah,
selling, especially when he was ramping up sales so much that
yeah,
you weren't getting them otherwise. And then he would spend the money instantly. Like he would
yeah,
never save any money.
no,
He would get a thrill from going to this clothing store and just buying like everything they had and just going home with it.
yeah.
Just running out of his money instantly. So I think that's what fueled him to like keep selling.
And even the Kobayashi world was like a really weird thing. And I didn't know this about like the painting scene is a really weird one because it's like everyone kind of knows that it's like you have these Picassos that are selling for probably like
Mhm.
1 penny when they're actually like being sold. And then all of a sudden, like years later, someone decides that they're amazing, and then any Picasso that you have, whether it's good or bad, is just worth like billions of dollars. But it's like he never saw a dollar of that,
Yeah.
and it's like you have this then set supply that there can't be anymore because this guy died 150 years ago.
Mhm.
But then like new art is weird. So it's like if I paint a picture and it sucks, but I'm just like, there's only five of these, and I'm only gonna make five, and they cost $100,000. You know, it's like I'm almost like giving it value in a way that it really doesn't have value like that.
This fact that none of this art has any actual value,
Yeah,
but the only value is what someone else will pay for it.
yeah,
So then if you have a Kobayashi, that means nothing. But if you portrayed as, oh, you have a Kobayashi,
yes.
this is a rare thing.
They
This is
cost
something,
anywhere between five and
right?
$10,000.
You hang this on your wall and you
Yeah,
tell people about what it is, like that's going to impress people.
yeah,
That's the only reason why
yeah,
people will buy, and that's what this guy was good at.
yes,
Like he pumped it, he
yes,
pumped up Kobayashis to the point where it's like, oh, if you had a Kobayashi, it was like a statement of something,
yes.
some kind of status.
Yeah. And for Kobayashi, he actually wasn't doing any of the paintings himself. He was
Right.
pretty much just like the image and the brand. So that became really weird later on, but like I thought that that part was really interesting, him explaining it, that essentially it's like they were running it like an actual business, where it was just like Kobayashi was the brand, where he was just this eccentric,
And I,
weird Japanese guy that was like, saying ridiculous things and making these paintings, but he actually wasn't doing any painting. They had like a full team of painters, and they also had like a full team of like think tank.
people coming up with ideas, a
Yeah,
team of people to paint it, and then he would
he
like
would just sign it
sign it, and he
at
wouldn't
the
even
end.
sign all of them. Like
Yeah,
sometimes people would sign for him,
yeah.
and that's why this girl who worked for them, like I think the workers didn't like Kobayashi because he was like essentially just a dickhead. She
Well,
would,
they must have been frustrated because it's like they're doing the paintings
yeah,
that are selling for $8,000, and they're just putting his name on it, and it's just like they could go out and paint the exact same thing, put their name on it, and they couldn't sell it for probably $100.
exactly. So they're pissed,
Yeah,
and then this girl Annika or whatever,
German.
German, that's already first red flag. Is essentially, I think, gets fed up, goes to Andy and is like, let's scam this MFer.
Yeah,
We can just, I can paint, I'm painting all these already.
yeah,
I'll paint them. We sign them, you sell them, and we'll just go around the world and sell. You can sell them for 20 grand each.
yeah.
You
Which
go,
has got to be tempting in a way because like that split then
Mhm.
becomes the other way. Now all of a sudden, instead of him getting
Mhm.
10% of the 10K, he's now getting
They're,
50-50 or whatever they're doing for
they're,
split.
right. So now they're going around selling these paintings for 20, 50, 100,000.
Yeah,
They're technically fake, even though it's like the same exact thing. So he's like loving doing this. Like
yeah,
he's loving the scam. He's traveling around the world. They're going to Tokyo. They're going places. And the part where I'm like, like Annika was stupid about it. Like
yeah,
she had no idea what was going on. Like she wasn't smart enough to like run this whole scam.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden he just starts telling every single
Every single
person
person. Yeah,
at Kobayashi
yeah,
World where
yeah,
they worked, every single worker
yeah,
there, he would just tell how he was scamming them. And
yeah,
eventually Kobayashi found out
yeah,
and wasn't happy.
yeah. And he wasn't great about like he was taking wire transfers straight from, places that he had previously sold, like the
His
art
own bank
house.
accounts, they
Yeah.
did nothing to like cover this up in any
They were
way.
making calls, and yeah, he was telling every single person he knew about it, and he
They,
said like he felt like he had to tell people about it, and it's like,
I think he loved the attention. Like he loved going to a party and being like, "Yeah, I'm scamming this," and he could tell, and people would be like, "Wait, what?" Because
yeah,
it's a shocking story.
like he could have very easily just like got some random third person, gave them the contacts, and then been like, you're gonna sell these on the side.
So I think if he didn't tell the whole staff of Kobayashi World,
Probably would
he
have got
would have
away with it.
gotten away with
Yeah.
it. But eventually, they bring a lawsuit onto him.
He could have also, instead of trying to sell so many, he could have probably sold them like literally one at a time,
Yeah, space it out.
like to random people instead of like art collectors. Instead of selling like
Right.
20 to an art collector, if you just sold like one painting for $5,000 to like one family
Right, like
or
once
like
a
three
month,
thousand bucks,
and
yeah,
just it's free income. You're getting
Yeah,
$5,000 for no cost.
yeah, because they were stealing like literally the canvases from Kobayashi.
Yeah. So, is there anything else before we get to like the trial and stuff?
Um,
This whole time he's talking to therapists, like nothing's working. He's like his brain is starting
yeah,
to like move faster, and he's starting to go into like mood swings where he'll be like depressed for like 3 days and he can't leave his apartment. Then he'll get manic for like a week and
yeah,
he can't sleep, and
and
it's
they're
he's kind of
kind of
spiraling.
they're diagnosing him with different things. Like first, like they'll say that he's depressed and they give him Prozac, and then they'll say that he's
Like schizophrenic or bipolar.
yes, and then he was on like Anafil for the OCD, and he's like really bad about like taking the right doses, and he says he's just like trying like likes almost experimenting to see how it'll
Mhm.
affect him, and like in addition to being on these drugs, he's also drinking almost every night.
Drinking drugs.
Yeah, it's
I think he did drugs, right?
snorting, smoking coke. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
ton of
yeah.
drugs. Yeah,
Yeah. He has a one weird weekend with like the
the gay
gay sex
guys.
fest,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
bash, where he's just with like two strangers in an apartment all weekend. They just did coke for
yeah,
2 straight days and like
yeah.
had weird sex.
It's almost amazing that he like didn't have AIDS or anything like that.
I think I wrote that like this is just a recipe for
Like
AIDS.
one of
It's the
the
time period, 80s,
yeah.
90s.
But again, it's like you said, it was very weird that he'd be like, I'm attracted to everyone, but it seemed like maybe it was good.
I think, yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Like, because it was like every time he'd go on one of these sprees, like
there's
he
only
wouldn't,
men.
it was always met. Like in the gay guy that he met, it wasn't even by chance. It was like he was calling
The gay hotline.
the gay sex
It
hotline.
wasn't just like, oh, I'll call whoever I get,
Yeah,
because I don't care. He was
yeah,
like, I'm calling the gay
yeah,
hotline
yeah,
number.
yeah,
He never went on a manic spree of experimenting with women,
yeah, no,
going to like a strip club,
yeah.
or going on dates with girls or anything. It was always
But then people
dudes.
were always like trying to set him up too.
They're like, yeah, I have the perfect girl for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess they didn't know the full extent of what he was doing like all night when he was up.
I can't believe this guy had so many friends.
How did he have any
I have
friends?
one, and I'm like so much more
Yeah,
normal than this guy.
he was a terrible friend.
Yeah. But yeah, all right, so
Trial.
trial.
So he gets a
And
lawsuit.
I think this is like I think right around the scandals where it starts actually getting good,
Yeah,
right?
like I almost wit like I did like parts where he was just going on manic sprees
Me
that
too.
were not gay sex
Yeah.
because it was just like a whirlwind. Like, and he was taking you
Yes.
through that whirlwind, so I
Yeah.
did enjoy that.
Like the writing was weirdly almost good, being
Yeah,
so
yeah.
manic. And one of my first notes is like, I don't know if I can do 300 pages on like this style of manic writing because it's jumping around too much. But I almost feel like he did that purposely at first,
Hmm.
where it was like super manic-y, if that's a word, like just like jumping from one sentence to the next, and it was almost hard. Like I
Hmm.
was ready to just be like, I'm 12 pages in,
We
like,
gotta stop.
yeah, this is gonna be bad. But then all of a sudden, like it was still like super manic,
Yeah,
but it was so much easier to read, and it was like I thought it was an easy read
yeah.
for
It
like
was a
that.
quick read.
Yeah,
It was a very quick read. Um, and I again, like I did enjoy reading it.
same.
So he gets to the trial. So Kobayashi finds out. He's obviously not happy. He um decides to like file a lawsuit, and it takes a really long time, I think, and he's not sure if he's gonna get in trouble or not because I think it's like with the county or the state or whatever.
Yeah, so at first, the Mark Kobayashi calls him and pretty much says, I found out what you did, and like locks him out of his apartment, and then he's worried that he's going to be indicted, so he goes and he sees a lawyer. The first lawyer pretty much tells him not to worry that much, and then
Mhm.
they like I guess the District of New York like doesn't pick it up because it's like the art world and it's just Kobayashi's a bad character witness and like they just end up not taking it.
Yep.
But he's still like telling every single person he knows. And I guess at this time they're like still gathering evidence and he's still getting like wire transfers from Japan from some of the stolen art. And then some other district in New York picks up the case that has like closer ties between Japan and New York, and they have more evidence because they actually have like the wire transfers and all that type
Yeah.
of stuff. So they end up picking up the case. He's facing anywhere between, I think, 5 years in prison and like 125K in fines.
Yeah, it was like a lot of prison time he was facing. So it's
Yeah,
essentially is hanging over his head for like a year where he doesn't know if he's going to get trouble. He thinks the case is dropped. He doesn't know if they're going to
yeah,
pick it up, and that does not help with his mania at all because he's
no,
like needing to fill that with like
yeah.
stuff, and that's where he really goes off the
I think it was
rails.
actually maybe 25 years in jail
It
at
might have been
first.
25.
Yeah. And then I think when he didn't get indicted on all 5 counts and he only got indicted on the 1 year, the one served like a maximum of 5 years. And then he only got 5 months.
Yeah. So the whole trial, he like is actually enjoying because he's enjoying the attention.
Yeah.
He's like wants to go on the witness stand so that way he can like he's so confident in himself. He thinks he can like talk to each juror and like convince them that he's innocent,
Yeah.
even though he like knew he wasn't.
Yeah.
But eventually, yeah, they got him on one of the five charges, I think, and he
Yeah.
ends up doing 5 months in prison.
And like I thought even that process was really interesting and it's just fascinating because you don't know. And again, this is like the 80s, maybe the 90s now, early 90s, but like it was just even interesting with that where it's like I didn't realize that like people would, write all these letters to a judge like asking for
Oh
leniency.
yeah, all of his friends were writing letters to the judge
Yeah,
about how good of a guy he was, like
yeah,
dozens of letters.
yeah. And then some guy like shows up at your like family's house to like interview you for the judge to essentially see like how wholesome your family is.
Yeah,
So like then he had like really good parents in a upper middle class New Jersey.
which helps.
It helped, and like the letters really helped. And then even after that, then they paid like $7,500 to some I don't know, I forget what they called it, some activist that
I don't remember.
like got him to go to like the CCC jail, like the community something jail.
Oh, so they can
So
go.
he didn't even have to serve it in like a minimum detention facility. He literally served his time in like a like almost like a halfway.
Yeah, he got there and like he's able to wear his own clothes. He's like,
Yeah,
oh, my roommate was watching
yeah.
TV at the time when
He
I
was
walked
in like a
in.
country club jail.
Yeah,
And it like so it's just like it's interesting that you hear like that side of it and it's like to be fair I do think that that's probably right that it's like a guy that clearly has mental health problems.
yeah. I'm surprised they didn't.
He wasn't doing any violent
Can't we like be
things.
like, oh, we're gonna go off on like insanity or whatever? And
They
like
probably should have.
they didn't even think about that.
No,
Like this guy's on 30 pills a
I
day.
know.
He's been to 18 therapists,
That probably
and
wasn't so much a thing maybe in the 80s because they were
they
like
weren't like
Prozac wasn't even invented yet.
they didn't even like think of it. Like
Yeah,
that's a good way to get off a like a trial.
yeah,
But so like if you got in trouble for something,
yeah.
and then the judge, is contemplating your sentence,
And I would reach out to all my
how
friends.
many letters do you think that judge would receive on your behalf?
Outside of
Because he
family?
didn't say, I asked all my friends to send a letter for me.
No.
Like they did it on their own.
Yeah. It was like a big trial though too.
Yeah, it was like in the
That's the thing
news.
though,
That
is
helped maybe.
maybe, yeah, maybe if it was like a huge trial and like anyone that was like, oh, I remember that guy. But then it's like, would they even know to write a letter?
I don't know if I would get one.
I mean, I would, yeah,
Like I think my parents would be like, yeah, like you need to pay your time.
talk about it with the judge.
Right. Like
Like, I'm
you
not gonna talk to the judge for you.
right,
You're a big boy.
like
Like you talk to the
you need
judge.
to pay the time for a crime you just committed.
Yeah, I
And
think my parents obviously would, and I think my family would if they knew that they were allowed to.
well, yeah, I
I
didn't
don't think
even
people just go out on a limb and do it. But
yeah.
if I was just like, hey, I need you guys to like write a letter on my behalf, the judge is saying like
If I asked my parents or friends, I think I could get a few.
ChatGPT probably would too for
If I
most
said,
of
ChatGPT, write me 25 letters from my
yeah.
friends, send them to this judge,
Yeah.
that's my best bet. But he was getting like so many.
Yeah, really, I think that was maybe the part of the book that I understood the least is why this guy had so many friends and why he was so successful and
It's,
why I have so little friends and why I'm so unsuccessful. You know, like
it's,
he seemed to be doing every single thing wrong.
it's me. Like he was. clearly very social and like very entertaining.
Yeah.
And you kind of use his condition to like entertain people. He'd be
Yes.
like, look how many pills I have to take, and
Yeah.
I'm an art scammer, and
Yeah.
I'm going to jail now. Look at my ankle bracelet because I'm
Yeah.
on house arrest,
Yeah.
and let's go to this bar, and then let's, have a drink here, then we're gonna go for dinner here, and then we're gonna walk all across town and go here. And like, it's probably easy to get people caught up in that for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then, but it's very hard to keep people invested in that, I would think.
I would just think like the minute that I let one of my friends have sex with my girlfriend in front of me and then was like, that was weird, like me and that friend probably wouldn't be friends.
Yeah, I think that's a tough way to keep a friendship.
Yeah.
And like his friendship with Jonathan,
Yeah.
they were friends kind of for a long time. Jonathan like moved away, I think broke up with his wife, came back and they lived together and they were like super codependent and like did everything together.
Yeah.
Like we'll go eat breakfast together, walk to this place together, go to this appointment together, almost to an unhealthy place.
Yeah.
And then they got into one fight one day and he said we never talked again.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what? Like you
Yeah.
guys were just went from one extreme to the other, which
Yeah.
I guess is what he
But
does.
yeah, that was his whole life. But that's what I think is so shocking about him having so many friends. Like at
But
one point with his sister, like he literally got into a fight with her at the office when she like literally brought.
thanks, a heater.
Oh, okay, we're good. Literally brought him on to like her really successful PR thing where he was like making really
Yeah.
good money and was really good at it. So, but like she brought him on like without them having the best relationship. And he literally like ended that by like choking her in the office and like having to be
And
separate.
fight over like nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
over literally not like a choking your sister at the
Which
office.
is insane.
Insane.
But I
But
did
then
kind
it's
of
like his sister still,
like
you
stood
know,
by him to a
yeah.
certain extent, but
And it's
for
like
the whole
that's his
time.
life. Like they ended up like
Yeah.
being fine in the end and like it's just it's
Everything kind of worked out like within reason for him,
I feel like now people are way quicker to give up on people.
for sure. I mean,
I
I do think the codependence, he was on the right track with that with Jonathan.
yeah,
So I feel like two people working together is going to go better than one person.
yeah.
I think like when we were at our best, we were living together. Like if there were dishes to be done, like we're
Oh
both doing
yeah.
dishes.
Oh yeah.
Like if there was something to be clean, like we're both gonna go clean that.
I agree.
And it made it more enjoyable because now all of a sudden you have two people doing it. You can make a drinking game out of it. You put on music or something.
Yeah,
You turn a household chore something a lot more fun.
I totally agree. I
So like
think
we've
the
capitalized on that before. Like he was
yeah.
on the right track.
No, he got it.
And then he just I didn't even remember what their fight was about. It was about nothing.
Yeah.
And but to not it's just weird that like the therapy because they would go to therapy
I
together,
know.
which is insane.
Yeah.
And the therapist was like, "You guys can't do what you're
Yeah.
doing." And then they were like, "Okay," and Jonathan just moved away, and they never
Yeah.
talked again.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He went to a lot of therapists as well.
Yeah, he would go 2, 3 times a week. Like this poor lady, like he would call her like 6, 7 times a day,
Way too many old therapists too. Like he would
and then
like
they would just put him on a drug cocktail. So
yeah.
and then it'd be like 30 different pills, and then he would get like these severe side effects,
Yeah.
and then they'd be like, "Okay, we're gonna turn this one down a little bit, we'll turn this one up." They were
Yeah.
just they're literally experimenting. They had no idea.
I think too part of the problem is when you start seeing all these therapists and they're all between ages of like 60 and 75, which was pretty much like the story. Like every time you'd start seeing a therapist, you'd be like, you know what, I think I have a good feeling about this one. And then I would like turn the page of the book and like expecting for it to be like this one was a bit younger, like 35 years old, like understood me a little bit better. Every single
True.
time it was just like 65-year-old woman or like 75-year-old man.
Yeah,
And
he
it's just
tells
kind
a
of
full
like
story.
and it's like 1980, so it's like when they were trained in mental health, it was like the 20s. Like they
True.
were pretty much still giving people like cocaine as like
Prescription,
medicine.
yeah.
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 So it's just like I think it's one of those things where it's like it's crazy that that is like the 80s and the 90s and you think like, oh, that wasn't that long ago, like they'd be pretty good with that type of stuff and it's just like they really weren't. Like the mental health like they were really pretty bad with it. Like Prozac was just being invented when he was like 20 something.
Yeah. Johann Hari hadn't even had his first
Yeah.
prescription
And I
yet.
just think the bigger problem was the psychiatrists that he kept seeing were like fucking 75 years old. So it's like their training, they weren't like up to date on the newest.
Yeah, they would just like give him so many drugs that it would numb him for a while. and then he would like explode out of it into like a manic rage and start doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So he didn't like prison. He didn't like house arrest. It didn't help at all. He'd be like curled up in the bathtub for like a day, like
Yeah.
just sleeping in there and whatever, because he was like, so many thoughts were going through his head. He thought he was like covered in graffiti, or there were
Yeah.
razor blades on his tongue, or like he just started to lose.
Did you feel like a sense of like that everyone feels like he does, like on a scale? Like if the scale is like 0 to 100, he's probably on 100 in terms of like mania. But I feel like maybe like 20% of the things that he'd be talking about.
Oh, definitely. Like
Yeah.
I'm not manic to that level, but I'll
No.
get into thing. Like I'll get manic about stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing like Cup of Joe or Laptop, like I'll
Yeah.
get manic, or maybe even a book club.
Yeah.
I'll get manic about it, and I'll
Yeah.
like take it to like a level it shouldn't
And
go to.
I think it's everything though. It's like, and it's everyone. Like everyone is on a scale on everything.
Yep.
So it's like if you were to really like chart someone's personality, it's like you should be on a 0 to 100 scale in like 50 different things.
50 different
Like
categories.
OCD, mania, OCD,
Mania.
autism, mania again. Like what,
No, I see what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
like I think even everyone, like someone that's like really socially awkward, it's noticeable.
Well,
But everyone's socially awkward to some
they try to
extent.
box people into like one little thing. In
Yeah.
reality, like everyone's a spectrum of like 50
Yes.
different things.
Yes.
And
And if someone's like 71% autistic, it's like they're autistic. But if someone's like 61% autistic, they're not autistic.
not, yeah.
And it's just kind of like
Because there's no real good, like people
there
don't
isn't.
know.
It's
It's
yeah,
all subjective. It's
it
like, oh, are
is.
you OCD?
It's a
It's like, well, what do
spectrum.
you mean by that? It's like, well, I
Yes.
like things clean.
Yeah.
But like I don't need to turn the lights off and on three
Yes.
times
Or you do
every time, but
that.
like I get that there's some comfort in
Yes.
that, so maybe I'll do it
Yes. Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's a cover, like I'll make sure my door's locked every day at like an OCD type
Right, like
level.
I'll double check that
Yeah.
even though I just did it 3 seconds ago. I'll be like, oh, did I really
Yeah.
do it?
Or like people that lose their like wallet or their keys. Like that drives me absolutely
I don't know how
crazy.
people lose stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like, how do you like? I just put it in the same place every
me
time,
too.
and it's impossible to
Yeah,
lose.
yeah,
If you lose your phone 500 times a day,
yeah,
and I'm like, this is, and
yeah.
it'll be like in the
I
fridge,
know. My
and I'm
brother
like,
and my
this
dad,
is
same thing.
insane.
Insane.
It's
And it's just like
wild.
the things that I have go in set spots in my apartment. And then like I
But
won't
like,
just be
I'm
like
not
in my
think.
closet and like looking at a shelf and be like, oh, let me put my phone here for a sec. Like,
Yeah,
don't do that. Like my phone doesn't go on the shelf. It
but it's
stays in my pocket.
right, and then it's almost like not even that conscious of thinking. Where it's like I just get home and put my wallet and keys
Yes,
down. It's
me
just
too.
when I get to the dresser, I just put them
Yeah, me
down. I
too.
don't like. Like I'm not thinking like, oh, I need to put them down here so I don't
No.
lose them.
Yeah,
Just what
yeah.
happens.
But it's just like that is, I guess, a level
Annoying.
of OCD.
Right, like that would probably be like a 30 out of
Yes.
100 on
Or
the
even
OCD
probably
scale.
less than that, but
Maybe, yeah.
yes, yeah.
But like,
But some people would not feel a need to
and
do
then some
that.
people would be zero because they're like,
Yes,
I
they're
don't.
losing
I get
everything
home.
all
I've
the
seen
time.
people they throw their
Yeah,
keys onto the couch
yeah,
and they toss their wallet somewhere
yeah,
else or
yeah,
something. I've seen it.
yeah, I agree.
What else? We have. Then he gets into the electroshock. We should mention it quickly.
ECT.
So the whole thing is Electroboy. He's getting worse and worse with his mania.
And he's been on so many different medications, like,
He's like essentially willing to try anything to fix it. He can't think normally. He can't eat. He can't sleep. Blah blah
yeah,
blah. Essentially, they're like, "Hey, this is experimental. It probably won't work, but you can try it."
yeah.
Electroshock therapy. Crazy that they were doing this in like the 90s, which is not that long ago.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they still probably do it today to some extent.
I'm sure they do.
It forces like mini seizures that then I guess can like
So it's like what you see in the movies where they like tie a bunch of stuff to your head.
yeah,
And they literally jolt you with electricity.
kind of makes sense in a way that if someone is like so schizophrenic or down so bad where it's like they can't function at all, you're just
Right.
willing to like try anything.
Like it was crazy. Like they didn't clearly had no idea what it would do or if it would work or
Yeah.
not. And like the place was like some beat down place.
Yeah.
They would give him some anesthesia and then they would do the electroshock therapy and then like roll him out into a room with like 10 other patients who are just like moaning because they
Yeah.
just finished theirs.
I would think that he would have been better off in today's time. And I
Yeah,
did see he's still alive.
he's still alive.
Yeah.
Supposedly he's living life.
He's like on Twitter and shit.
He's tweeting. I saw a few tweets because
Did
I
you?
did a very like Google because I was interested to see because I was like, oh, he's probably still alive. Like
Yeah.
clearly, he just wrote a book. Um,
I wanted to look up Kobayashi paintings was like what I can't wait to look up.
yeah, I
Like I gotta see what
agree.
this painting looks like for 5 to 10K of like faceless people playing golf.
Face, yeah, like actually might be kind of cool,
It could
but
be.
but I mean the whole anything art is so stupid.
It really is though just crazy that it's like you can go to like me and Abriana went to like Montclair and they had some like thing where these artists were setting up these like tents and selling their
Yeah,
art
yeah,
and a
like
bunch of other
yeah,
shit. And I was expecting to go in and just be like, yeah, I'll buy a painting for like $20 and hang in my apartment. Like I had nothing up.
a
So like I'll
bare
throw something up
walls,
there.
just like
Yeah.
every yeah.
So I was like, I'll see if like I like the look of something and I'll buy it for like $20 or $50. And it's just like everything was like 200 to like
They,
$1,000.
especially those things. They
Yeah,
there's always like these weird little knickknacks, and
yeah,
you'd be like, oh yeah, like I guess I'll like put this on my
yeah,
shelf. And you go to buy it, and it's like
yeah,
$45, and it's like, wait,
yeah,
I don't want even want
yeah.
this.
I
I was just
know.
like thought it'd be fun to like buy one for like ten
Yes,
bucks, you know?
yeah, I know.
It's and again, it's all just oh, you have a Kobayashi,
Yes,
you have a
yeah.
Picasso,
Like
like
they can't damage their brand by selling a painting for $35.
yep. And
But it's just like, here's the thing, guys. Like nobody's gonna buy that for 2,000
and
bucks.
there's like the little bit of supply and demand in there where if you put it at $5, then people be like, this is like a piece of junk. But if you
Yes,
put it at 35, then people
yeah.
are like, oh, this is like
This is
a
good art.
this is like a good
It's the same thing with
thing.
wine.
Yeah.
Like when I go
Yeah.
in, like I'm not checking reviews on my phone when I go in and buy wine. If I don't give a shit, I'll buy something that's like 10 or $12. If I'm like, hey,
Open up.
yeah, like let's have a night tonight. I'm gonna splurge 17, $18.
I think that's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like
And then
18 to 22.
anything more than, yeah, I agree. And then anything more than that, I'm just not gonna get
Right. Like I think,
because I don't taste the difference.
right. I think
Yeah.
you can tell the difference between the 10 and the 20,
Yeah.
but you can't tell the difference between a 20 and an 80.
But if I saw wine for $7, like I just wouldn't buy it no matter what.
Where you'd be like, oh, that's
Just like
crap. I'm
it's
going to be
poison.
hungover if
Like
I drink
Durango.
it.
Like
If I see
Durango,
Durango, I'm buying
the glass must have been $8 of that
half the
$10
half the
bottle.
cost. It felt like an $8 bottle of
It
tequila though,
did.
the next
Oh
day
yeah.
when you were drinking it.
Even when you were drinking it, you're just like, my God.
It burned.
Yeah.
But it builds character.
I just love to think of those stories and like just like the representative for Durango just goes into Allendale Liquors and be like, hey, did you sell any? And it's like, you've actually been selling out.
See?
Like, like he gave us 12 bottles, they're all gone. Like, and the guy'd be like, oh my God, like I can't believe that. Who's buying this? And it's just the same group of
Mhm.
like four
Right.
idiots.
I went in one day, you went in
Yeah.
the next day, Call went in,
Yeah.
Jen went to go in because we were too drunk and we needed a
Yeah.
replacement during Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So should we wrap up Electro-boy and rate it, or do you have
Yeah.
any other notes on it?
No,
I just checked. I didn't have anything else.
yeah, I think that's right. And I think it's a really weird one to rate because
Yeah,
it's, again, a book that I would not recommend to someone out of judgmental purposes.
I would recommend it, but I would say there's a lot of weird gay sex scenes.
Yeah.
That's not why I'm recommending it.
It's
The
a,
other parts are good, just bite your tongue, like, bear
yeah.
down through those,
Yeah.
and the rest is like entertaining. And it's also a
Yeah.
quick book.
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't recommend an 800-page book to someone
True.
if there were 600 pages of gay sex
Yeah.
scenes. But like this book on my Kindle
50 pages
it
of
was
gay sex
200
scenes.
pages,
Yeah.
maybe 40 or gay sex. So like you can kind of get through it. And I
Yeah.
think that a shorter book I think makes it more recommendable and because in case you're wrong, it's not as big of an
Yeah.
investment for the other person.
It's a weird one to
You know
be
what I mean?
wrong about, though. I will say that.
Like
Like,
if the other
if,
person doesn't like it.
yeah, like we tell Ben, like, Ben, you got to read Electroboy.
So this
And then he just
yeah.
comes back and he's just like I could see him being like, I don't think I can be friends with you. I don't like the
Yeah.
direction that you guys are going.
Like this one, I would recommend, but with caveats. Some books
Yes.
you recommend, you're like,
Yeah. Just read it.
this is breath.
Yeah.
You read it.
Yeah.
You don't think, I'm
We
not
breathe
second
differently.
guessing at all. This one,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, here's the deal. Um,
I agree
I
completely.
had a number in mind, and I think,
All right, wait, let me write down mine before
okay,
you say
but
yours.
basically, So would recommend, enjoyed reading it, had some drawbacks. It's not like a complete game changer, obviously, in any way in terms of our life, but I'm happy I read it because it's something
I
completely different.
totally agree. You only read this book, um, if you're in a book club.
If you're in a book club, it was in
Yeah,
like into the 50s, that's when
yeah.
you start reading Electroboy. Um, but I also think part of this is like thinking about how to scale like other books too, because sometimes we're like, oh, we don't want to compare books. Like we've read what we've read, and I'm not going to try to change that. So like I'm going to
Nah,
start rating books based on what we've read, because now we're comparing you against all the other books.
I agree.
Like it's hard to
Yeah.
rate a book in vacuum. So like you have to anticipate like what other books have been and might be. So here, my number is, I think this is actually pretty fair, 3.75.
Oh my God. Okay. So that's lower than I
Okay,
thought.
really?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, part of it is like calibrating it against other books. Like we give another book a 4.2, and I think this is a good book, but I
yeah.
think 3.75 is like the top, like the bottom of the good books.
Okay.
That was my thought.
So I went 4.2,
Okay.
4.21.
I think that 4.21
Yeah,
next.
that might
So let's
be.
say 3.8 and 4.2 is a 4. Actually,
I think that's probably
I think
right.
that's probably right. We
Yeah,
always get there.
I get what you do. Because I think, I don't know, I think of like a 3.75 as I wouldn't recommend that book then. But again, I
No,
get what you're saying. Like, I got to look at our 4.2s and compare it to our
right. Like I think
4.2s.
we gave like Crooked might have been a 4.2,
It's
or
just so tough. It's
like
such a tough book to
it's so
compare
different than Crooked.
because
Like
it's so different.
right.
Like it's so unique. There won't really be another book like this. And Crooked, there's a lot of books like Crooked, just not about Batman,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
about something else.
And they're all good though.
They're all good.
Yeah. All right, so Electro Boy 4.0.
I agree.
I
Yeah,
like it.
and I think that's right.
I think that's 100% right.
Yeah,
Now we go on to our second book. I'm gonna pull up the full book title.
yeah. I got my notes in here.
Um, I got a few notes as well. We have Unruly: The Ridiculous History of England's Kings and Queens by David Mitchell. How should we go about this?
So I think you start on this, just like initial thoughts
Yeah.
and kind of where you have it as like, from good to bad.
Okay. So how do I explain this? As a book club, what's the one thing we take more serious than anything else?
Drinking wine.
Drinking wine, number one. Number two, books.
Yeah.
And I don't take it lightly when I feel like there's foul play at hand.
Okay.
Now, stick with me
Yeah,
here.
I can't wait to hear where this is going because I didn't pick up on any foul play.
So I don't think this guy wrote a book about the kings and queens of England because he's interested in the kings and queens of England. He's like Charlie in Nightman Cometh when they're like, "Why are you writing a play?"
Yeah.
And eventually they find out it's so because he wants to for the waitress.
Yeah, yeah.
This guy wanted to write something so that he could talk about himself and what he thinks in like politics
Okay.
and be like, "Hey, I'm funny.
Yeah.
I cursed in a book about stuff. I need a way to tell people that. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna like Google Kings of England and like go to the Wikipedia
Yeah.
and like write a book about
Okay. See, I had a really similar take, but not didn't take it to your extent.
it."
So like my take was two things. One, I couldn't follow it at all. I was listening to it at 1.0, couldn't follow it. Bumped it up to 1.2 to try to make me like lock in
Right.
more, couldn't follow it. Then bumped it back down and was like, I'm gonna take meticulous notes, couldn't follow it. And then my overall theme was the same as yours with like he's like trying to take a strong comedic approach to history, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. And then just as like the thing went on, and then you finally get to the end, and he talks about how much he loves Shakespeare, I was just like, oh, this guy actually sucks. Like, so then I was like, okay, he's not funny. I didn't learn any history. And like the first half the book, I took it as my fault that I knew so little about the English history that I couldn't follow it, that I couldn't keep track of the names, or there's like Edward the Fifth or or Joseph the Third, and it's just like I couldn't keep track of anything. And I just thought like, hey, maybe this guy actually would be funny if I understood the book. Like when he would like
Yep.
make like little COVID jabs or like Donald Trump jabs. I like didn't understand the first part of the jab. So like I couldn't be like that was funny or it wasn't funny. It'd be like,
I didn't know if it was like pro or against,
yes,
but I just
yes.
knew
It'd be
it
like
had
King
nothing to do
Joseph
with what I
treated
was trying.
his
Like,
wife like Donald Trump treats like COVID or something. And I
yeah,
would just be like, I don't know how he treated his wife. And I also
yeah.
like,
Does that mean that
yeah,
it
like,
was good or bad? Like, I just
yes,
literally didn't
yeah,
know, but I also didn't care what his opinions were
yeah,
because I wasn't reading a book for like opinions.
yeah,
Like so my reasoning for putting this book into our top threes that we were
yeah,
selecting from was I was like Kings of England, like there could be a lot of like really cool, funny, not even funny, but like interesting stories about what these kings did. Like I was expecting like heads rolling, peasant revolts and
yeah.
all these crazy things happening. Like
Cat massacre.
I wrote about, oh, I have so much.
Yeah,
I wrote about Cat Massacre. Um, so essentially what I wrote was like on that was I thought the French were the ones who sucked
yeah,
and the English were cool.
yeah.
I'm now flipped.
I couldn't believe how intertwined they are.
English, I mean, what are they good at? What do they have going on?
Nothing.
That might be my least favorite
Country.
situation that's going on right now.
They're really headed in that direction too with
I,
everything that's going on.
like if you're comparing this to Cat Massacre,
Yeah.
I thought we would get some cool stories like that. I learned nothing about any king.
This guy also might have been French. Was he French?
He sounded English.
But he like said the thing at the end that was like super pro French and anti English. Like the thing
Really?
at the end, he goes something like imagine if like England's like whatever like cared as much as um cared as much about its people as like the French does. That in France they actually have a law that says you're not allowed to eat lunch at your desk during work.
Oh,
That
I
you
remember
have to
that.
like go out and like go to a cafe or go home and cook and eat a good meal and then come back to work. They actually have like a law. And they had to like put that law on hold during COVID because people couldn't go out to cafes and all that. But like pretty much like saying like giving like the French government a lot of credit for actually caring about its people. And it's weird. Like, do you hear any French news ever in the United States?
Only French news I've ever heard is that Bridget Macron's a man.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I
That's
know about France
yeah.
as a country.
Which probably means
And
they're
Cat
doing
Massacre,
probably
which I
means
like. I like both those
yeah, me
stories.
too.
So I might be in on
I think I am
France.
too. Dude, think
Um,
about it. It's like everything you hear bad about every other country. Do you ever hear anything bad coming out of France? Other than like stupid stereotypes, like they're
right.
like unshaven armpits or
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
stupid stereotypes like that. Like you take that away and it's just like, why are we not hearing anything negative about French government, about the French people?
It's weird. You don't hear a lot about France. You
I
don't
think
hear
that
anything
means they're
about
doing something
Spain
right.
either.
Spain completely went bankrupt, I think, a
They
few
just
years
went to the
ago, right?
side, like
Yeah,
Portugal. We talked about them before. Um,
racist.
all right, so cards are off the table. I hated it.
Yeah, I didn't like it
I
either.
hated this book, and I thought like there would be interesting things about the Kings, and you'd learn a lot.
I thought you were gonna be, this is what I was afraid of. I was afraid of coming here saying I didn't get any of it and I didn't try hard enough to get it. Like there was a time in my head where I was like, I'm gonna take meticulous notes on this, but then I just felt like I was doing work, like a school project, kind
Right,
of
we're
like
not here to
real,
work.
yeah, like the real history of Howard's Inn, where it's just like it's a textbook, but it felt like you were reading a textbook.
So that was something I thought of too, where I think one problem, and I have a lot of problems, is it's too broad a time period
Yeah.
where you can't say anything interesting
You can't
because you're
learn about
covering 800
anything.
years.
Yeah.
So you have to say like a little bit about each thing, and then
Part of it though,
you're
I think
getting really
is
getting nothing.
maybe a little bit on us though, that it's like maybe some of this information would have been really interesting had we known anything about it previously.
But
Like if he did this on the American history, we would have had enough of a foundation that if he was like George Washington's sister was gay, then I would have been like, oh, that's interesting about George Washington. I can't wait to bring that up. But like when he says like Edward the Third's sister was like, homosexual, then it's just like I don't even know who Edward the Third
Yeah,
is.
I
You just switched to him 5 minutes ago,
he
and now
jumped
you're already
around
talking about
way too
someone
much.
else.
He was
Yeah,
trying to go chronological, and he just
yeah.
kept jumping
But do
around.
you think that's a little bit on us for and I wrote in my notes like, it was interesting that if we had read a book, that if he wrote a book on like the American history, I think that'd be the only way for us to really give this guy a fair shot. But it
But
sounds like you don't want to give this guy a
I have a lot of thoughts
shot.
that I will share. So I think, like, if we learn this with people's history, which is what I
Yeah,
was thinking of, when they try to cover 300 years of history in one
too
book,
much. Yeah,
if you have a book about George Washington, it's going to be a lot more interesting. If he had just picked one king,
yeah,
researched the crap out of him,
yeah,
and made a book about it,
yeah,
and did his style,
yeah.
I think it would have come off a lot different.
But his style did when he said how much like when he was like he made it very clear at the end of the book how much he loved Shakespeare. Like he alluded to it a couple of times. And then at the end it was just a full-on love fest about Shakespeare. And I was just like, okay, no, that it does make sense that this book sucks because this guy loves Shakespeare.
Well, so this is my problem with the book. While he's saying that he loves Shakespeare, he's saying Shakespeare's the best artist of all time in
Yeah,
any realm, and if you don't think that, you're an idiot.
yeah,
And it's just all opinion and no
yeah,
facts. Whereas, like, I would care a lot more about like what Shakespeare was doing, or
yeah,
like what made him interesting, instead of just like this guy's opinion about Shakespeare.
yeah.
Like
Well,
that,
Shakespeare, I didn't even know was British, didn't you?
I knew he was British, but also I remember reading Shakespeare in high school.
So,
I got news for you guys. This shit sucks. This is crap. I
no,
mean, he's so, if I'm watching a
but
play and
then
I don't know what you're saying,
yeah,
it's not on me. It's not
no,
a good play. I
yeah,
don't care. Like, I
yeah.
don't need to know.
And he
It's your
does.
job to communicate
And
it.
I think he makes the point the other way, like anti-Shakespeare. Whereas like so little was written down and so few people could actually write in like 1588 English time that like the most talented people we will never and won't know about because they weren't writing shit down because they didn't know how to write. So
Yeah,
it's like if you had, and then he like listed a bunch of great people and he was like, we would have never heard about those great people because they didn't know how to write and they wouldn't have wrote. And he was like, well, Shakespeare knew how to write. And like, that's why we still know about him. And he was one of the great people. And it's just like, but that just takes away from Shakespeare. It's like, yeah, like there's probably a bunch of great, really cool people back then. And, just because they weren't writing plays for a living, you're not going to talk about them, but you're going to like jerk off to Shakespeare for,
but that's
20
where Cat
minutes.
Massacre
Yeah.
shines the light on the other side of things, where it was like
Yes.
the people you don't know
The
about. That's what
peasants
made it
just killing
interesting. It's
cats.
like something a little bit different.
Totally.
This guy, he went through every single king from like year 1000 or whatever
Yeah.
until like 1700
Like
maybe.
way before England was even England.
Right. But he didn't say, like, he didn't do any research.
First chapter was the best, by the way.
Okay, so
Yeah,
to the
the King
start,
Arthur thing was actually pretty sick.
I I was excited because I thought the book started off good.
It did.
I was like, okay, like he's trying to be funny, like sure,
Yeah.
I'm on board, that's cool. He was kind of giving like interesting fun facts that I
Yeah.
didn't know before.
So like the start is like most people think of like King Arthur as the first king of England. And two things are wrong with that statement. One, there was no England back then. And then two, King Arthur also didn't exist. Like it's
Right.
just completely fictional character.
I heard that, loved it. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's the kind of things I would like to learn about.
me too.
Like, oh, King Arthur never existed. I
Yeah,
wrote that down. Like,
this was back in my notes period before I was just like, I fucking can't do it. But
yeah,
like, then the next note I have is like Britain's original name was Albion, which is like an old name for Britain or Albion or something like
okay.
that. William the Conqueror took over, and then it essentially became England. The Vikings never wore
So I like
horns.
the Vikings part, never wearing horns,
Same.
and we actually don't know what they were about because they didn't write anything down. I thought we
Yeah,
knew like a lot about the Vikings, but on your William the Conqueror part,
yeah,
this is where I started to put my feelers out
yeah,
because he essentially said William the Conqueror, and I remember it now because
yeah.
it's the way he said it. William the Conqueror conquered England in the Battle of Hastings in 1066.
Nice.
Essentially, he's like, if you don't know that, you are a retard. And I
Yeah.
was just like, well, I didn't know that.
Nah.
So now my guard is up.
Yeah.
That's early in the book. I'm like, hold on, guy.
Yeah.
Hold on. I did not know that. And I've read about 50 books
Yeah.
and I know a lot of things.
Yeah.
So that, but I was okay still. I was still like, hey, these are like facts and things I didn't know that I'm now learning, which I appreciate. Like he said,
This was, I think we have to mention, like, this was pretty highly rated, I think, on Goodreads. And
yeah, I think so.
so I wonder if it's just highly rated, like I said,
By
because
English people, maybe.
English
But
people,
also, like, this guy sucked me.
I mean, you don't have to sell me out. I did like a couple of things he said, and it's not so much like the Vincent and then Vincent's son and then Vincent's son's son. Like I did like that, like the old way of like keeping track of people's names because they only had one name was like if you were like Paul, then your son would be like Paulson, and then your son's son would be like Paul's son's son,
Right.
and then it would just kind of keep going.
Like,
And
I
then
think he was funny and he had the ability to be funny, but then
at
he would
times
take
he got worse
jokes
and worse as the book got on.
less he would take jokes and just run them into the ground where
Yeah,
he would say like, oh, this, King Edward was a dick. And he wasn't just a dick because everybody at the time was a dick. He was a dick
yes,
because he was a dick. It's like,
yeah,
okay, you said the word dick in a book. You don't
yes,
have to say it 500 like we get,
yeah.
he would kind of go off like
No,
that.
there was way too many jokes. I thought the information again, like, and that's the thing is the best part about the book was the information, like the Vincent son
I
something, the
think
Vikings,
the
the King
information
Arthur.
early on was good,
Yes,
but then
so
when he
much
started
worse.
going through different kings,
Yeah,
he wasn't saying anything new or interesting that like he was
no,
finding out. Like he was just reading a Wikipedia and saying like, oh, this person then had a son and then that was the rightful heir to the next throne, but
yeah,
then this person thought that they had the next claim to
yeah.
the throne, so then they tried to get it.
Or like
And it wasn't like
Queen
anything anyone
Mary.
didn't know, right?
Yes, or like Queen Mary being like Bloody Mary, and then he like makes a bunch of quibs about that she wasn't like beheading people, that she should have been Bloody Mary, she was burning everyone to death, she should have been like Ashy Mary, and it's just like you're going on for 5 minutes about this instead of he never told us why she was murdering everyone
Talk
or like
about the
why
I was like,
or like
this is
how good of a
I was
queen
like,
she
I'm back
was or
in
like
now. She's burning
yes,
people. She's the queen.
yes,
Let's go.
and then it just moves on. Then like okay, 1588, Queen Elizabeth, and I'm just like Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
like if you look at my notes, it literally just says Queen Mary, Bloody Mary, and then I'm about to write something, and then I have nothing to write, and then it goes next note, 1588, Queen Elizabeth, and that was all I could write.
And then he would be like, Queen Elizabeth, she was a lot like King Edward, and I already told you about him. And
Yeah,
I'd be like,
yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck is King Edward?
No, I thought that was really tough. Back to the beginning because it was really the only decent
I
part.
like when he
Fake retreat strategy was good.
Faker Tree Sat strategy was good. I liked when he said something about like the gods and how the days of the week are named after the gods.
Yeah,
There's like Frigg is Friday,
yeah,
Saturn is Tuesday, Saturday. The two was like the war god Tuesday. Like I was like,
yeah,
okay, like again, cool stuff that
yeah,
I can
yes,
ingest and now
yeah.
project onto other people at parties.
I agree. William had the two sons that he had four sons. Two were killed in hunting accidents, which I thought like just made a quick note that it's like similar to more suicides today. That it's like if you were
Yes.
killed in hunting accidents
Yep,
back then, you're probably
that was the
murdered.
way to clear the path
Yeah.
to the kingdom.
Um, I think the hunting thing is interesting though, that he said like how all these kings throughout time, like their favorite thing to do was hunting. And it's interesting because like now it's not like it's becoming less and less popular every year. And it makes sense. It's like if kings in 1588 could have been like playing PlayStation all day, they'd probably be doing that instead of hunting.
Yep.
But it is interesting that it's like you have something where it's like these people can do whatever they want. They literally they own the country, and it's like they just choose to spend all their time hunting,
Yeah.
which is like, I think that says something about hunting.
I think hunting gets a bad rap,
Yeah,
but we've been on a hunting trip.
we have.
It's a good time.
We shot, and like we can't say we didn't shoot any guns. We shot guns,
We shot targets and beer
beer
cans,
cans,
and
never killed anything.
it's no, but
Found a pet salamander.
but it's thrilling, just like being in the woods, being out in
No,
nature.
yeah.
It's you know,
it made me feel like I do want to actually get into hunting, like take a hunting trip.
it'd be
So,
awesome.
so like book club hunting trip. I think we should put that
That
on
would be
the.
awesome. I don't know
Yeah.
if I could pull that trigger though.
Depends on what animal it was. Like if it was like a squirrel, I'd just be like, fuck it.
Squirrel. I think like bird, I'd have an easier time with. Like deer, like I really don't
Deer, I'd have
know.
a hard time
I
with.
like
Yeah.
I really like deer.
But I think I would like the idea of like before I went hunting, the first purchase I would make is like a big freezer.
Big meat freezer.
Yeah.
I mean, meat freezer is
So
sweet.
then it's like now all of a sudden I have
I
to shoot this deer because I got
I
to
gotta
fill up this freezer station.
use the freezer first. I like
Yeah.
that because the meat is awesome. Like I love having the meat. I
Yeah.
love going on the trip.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could take it,
That
but if
I,
other people are doing it, like I'm cool.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't be like, hey, you guys shouldn't shoot people. Like I'd like to be there while other people are shooting
I also
things.
wouldn't be that opposed to like we go for our first hunting trip, we go, we trek, we set up, we're hiding in the bushes, we see a deer, and we're just like, I don't feel great about this.
Don't
Like,
even bring a gun.
yeah, just like, all right, we like now we
We,
know,
right, we
and then
found
we
them.
go home.
We
Yeah.
know where they are. Now we're gonna go home and we're gonna make some food
So
and
that's
build a fire.
something we obviously need more, thought on, but
But I think it actually might be good if like if our president hunted.
oh yeah,
I think that
instead
would
of
benefit the
golfing, and he
country.
does make a little
Yeah.
quib about that like, hunting for them
Mm.
was like golf for our presidents,
Uh,
but
like it was unnecessary quibs that didn't
stupid.
add
Yeah.
value, and it wasn't like
Because I would like my king to be hunting because we're about to go to war. Like that was the most important thing. Like I want this guy to be able to like
I want this guy to be Simon
be
Kenton of
tough. Yeah.
hunting,
Yeah.
right? Like know
Yeah.
the wilderness, be able to lead me. I can trust him.
Yeah.
Fully agree on that.
But yeah. And then yeah, just there was like King Stephen, Matilda drama and I like most of my notes. I did like the Crusade thing, which I think is interesting. Just but again, it's like it's an interesting topic. It wasn't
Right. So
interesting
like
in the
I'm
book.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I would love to read a book about the Crusades because it's
Yeah.
probably so interesting to learn
Yeah.
about. And he literally just like mentioned the Crusades. He was like, yeah, English kings were like all about doing crusades.
Yeah.
He was like, doing a crusade is like living in an apartment in
Yeah.
England, and maybe you had to go like, and it's like, dude, wait, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you talking about?
It's just like first, like one, what's a crusade? And then it's
Mhm.
like two, why do they all feel like it's so important? And then it's just like, yeah, like I would love an entire book on that.
Right. I think
This
that's where he was too, like, but I think
that's why I almost feel like we need to start writing our own books.
we gotta
Like
write the own
we
books
keep
and then
yeah,
read them and talk about them.
we keep we keep adding books on topics where it's just like, why are we not just writing these?
We should.
Like we
'Cause-
keep adding it on like the Mormons and their like dark checkered history, and it's just like I want to write that book,
True.
or like a crusade book. I'm sure there's probably some of those, but it's like if we're struggling to find the crusade book that we want,
We should do
we
it.
should just write it.
We should do our own crusade
Yeah,
episode.
because you're probably right about this guy. You probably just chat GPT like basic
That's
information, like
like there's books like Annie Jacobson. I forget the name of the person who wrote Crooked. uh, Fauci book. Like
yeah,
there's serious
yes,
research going
writing a book.
on where you're pulling from different
Tom O'Neill,
sources.
chaos. Like that
Right.
guy's not a
You're taking
writer; he's a
20 years to write
researcher.
this book. You're
Yeah,
living it. Like that comes out in
yeah,
the book
it does.
for sure, and you feel like you're getting that
You're
value while
right. This
reading
was
it.
like all surface, and
This
then
was
also
service
couldn't
like yeah,
follow it.
and then this guy's son was like a bit of an idiot, so he
Yeah,
didn't want to be king, and so his cousin wanted to be
yeah,
king, and it
yeah.
was like, okay, cool. Like it
I'm
wasn't, like
I'm curious
anything gripping.
what else this guy's written that
I think
if we
I
went and
didn't
we
look him up, but I unfortunately saw his picture, and that didn't help.
yeah.
I don't know if on Spotify if you like accidentally scroll down, uh, and you saw this.
Oh yeah.
I mean that's the face of a man that is
That
just
love Shakespeare.
so again, going back to the original thought, like I felt like he was writing this book more for attention on
Yeah.
himself and like his comedic career. Like I think he mentioned in there that he was an actor at one point. Like he played Shakespeare, and that's why he liked him so
Oh yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like if you're a comedian or an actor, like maybe he's a great comedian and a great actor,
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Don't try to like write a book to show that you are also smart or something
Yeah.
because it's not coming off the way you want.
He also probably, honestly, probably had like a ghostwriter on this to do all, like, he probably just took some boring English historian and was just like, hey, give me like a brief overview
Give me a
of
summary.
history, and then I'm gonna throw random jokes in there.
So I'm also upset about the history because the England had this amazing world empire
Yeah.
and they dominated the world for centuries.
Didn't talk about that.
Did not even say that.
No.
Don't even know when that happened. If it was after the time period, he stopped in like
And
1700.
he really only talked about like the England being worried that if like a queen married some guy from France to
Hmm.
like unite the empires, then France would actually it would actually not be England anymore, it would just be France because like guy has like natural
Right.
like whatever over the woman.
Hmm.
So then it would just be like actually France is in charge of
Right.
England.
Didn't talk about the empire. Didn't talk about, what the king was doing during the American Revolution,
Yeah.
which is like a huge deal. So I think he almost purposely stopped before that because it's like an embarrassing thing probably for England.
Yeah.
But like you guys lost a Revolutionary War
Yeah.
250 years ago or more. You got to own it.
Yeah.
Own it and put it in the book and tell me what the king was doing during that
Because he does talk a
because you wrote
little
a
bit
whole
about
book
modern,
about
yeah,
kings of England
yes,
and you just left it out the guy
yeah,
that was the king during the American Revolution. You could have
yeah,
had America
yeah,
and you blew it.
yeah.
I want to hear about what was going on.
It's funny too that he talks about like Parliament, though, that he says like, okay, like once England started like with like a Parliament or like a Senate type thing to make the decisions, the king and queens just became a figurehead. And then all those decisions were really made by Parliament. And it's like we actually do know that about like the American Revolution, that it's like the East India Tea Company was like getting so pissed off at
Like
the
we
colonists
we'd
that
have to
like
teach
they
this guy
yeah that they
about
then
how it works.
pressured them to essentially start the war, and it's just like yeah, that's interesting. It's like all of a sudden it's like you had this king system that worked pretty freaking well. You became like a world power, which he didn't even really mention that they were.
Never mentioned it once.
Yeah, that like they were like an absolute dominant world power, and then all of a
They ran
sudden
the whole
lost
world for
it.
like I think like 500 years,
Yeah,
but he literally made it seem like it was like a small
just a
town.
bunch of yeah, he really
With like
did.
four people
With a
in it.
bunch of random kings, and you'd just be like, and even a couple times you'd be like, and England defended it with a measly 200 ships. Can you believe it? It's
Right.
just like,
Is that a
this
lot or
is
a little?
1588. I don't know.
Sounds like a
Yeah,
lot.
I can't even believe they had a ship in 1588.
I literally remember listening to
Yeah,
that. I mean, like, I don't know if he's joking that it's really a lot of ships or
yeah,
really a little amount of ships.
he sucked. I'm glad that we're on the same opinion, and this is why it's good to talk about books because I kind of blame myself for this book sucking, but I'm glad to know
Well,
that the
we
book actually
share
did suck.
blame
Yeah,
because I think you added it to the list,
probably.
but I added it to our top
Three.
three
Yeah, yeah,
in picking.
yeah.
So we'll share the blame on that.
But it's
But
it's
he's not only just
I can't believe that rating though.
the rating on Goodreads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he not only made me so here's what makes a good book. You take a topic
Yeah.
that I know nothing about or don't care about,
Yeah.
and you make me.
Have to tell every single person you know about it.
So I started reading a book called The Rape of Nanking
Yeah.
by Iris Chang.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. Never thought about it before. Don't really care about it. Don't know
Yeah.
what it is. Read the book. It's the only thing I talked about for a year straight.
Same.
Weddings, cocktail
Yeah.
parties, cocktail hour. Hey, haven't seen you in 10 years. What's going on? I just read The Rape of Nanking. I had to tell, like, that's literally what happened.
Yeah.
This,
That's how I
he
feel with
did
our
not take a topic I didn't care or know about
yeah.
and make me
There's I have nothing to add or say. Yeah.
like if there was a second book of The Rape of Nanking that came across our desk, we would that book was so good we would probably fast track it to the
Yeah.
top. If a second book of English Kings came across our desk right now, I wouldn't even add it to our list,
And
no matter how good it might be.
I'm sad about that because I do think it potentially
There's potential there.
so much. I mean, we just said like the Crusades. I would read a book on the Crusades. Just like the king and queen concept is hilarious. Like hilariously like almost awesome in a way that it's just like you have these royal bloodlines and that this equips you to run the country. It's almost like similar to my theory of like what we should do with politics, where just like a random person gets chosen to run the country, like not based on merit at all. We just like pick randomly out of like the pool of the entire people, everyone from age like, 25 to 65 gets
Okay.
put in this random pool. Name comes out, they're the president. Run it again. Name comes out, they're the vice president. Run it again. Name comes out, they're Secretary of State. And it's just like,
I don't hate it.
yeah, it's just like I want people running the country that don't want to run the country, you know?
Yes.
And I feel like with this king and the queen thing, it's just like interesting because it's like they have no. I think politics though is no different though now. It's like, does Donald Trump have any more right than like Billy Bob Joe to be president of the United States? Like Donald Trump inherited most of his money.
Well, firstly, he got $1 million from his dad. He turned it into billions.
Yeah.
Not easy. But no,
But it's also like, didn't he inherit a building in New York City?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Like
But
that billion just not selling it went from $1 million
yeah,
to almost $1 billion.
but I get your point of like, if the most qualified person to run the country
Yes.
is not going to run the country
Yes.
because that person is going to start like
They're like smart enough to realize that they don't
some
want to
venture
do it.
capital firm or whatever
Yes.
it might
Yes.
be that they're good at,
Yeah.
and they're going to run someone who's really good at running any kind of
Yeah.
business that could run the country like a business isn't
Like
going
I,
to
I
do it
don't want some like
because
skeevy kid from high school that was kind of smart that like really desperately wanted to be cool but wasn't cool because he wasn't good looking.
mhm.
And then like, goes to a really good Ivy League school, studies really hard, makes all these connections and then is like skeevy behind the scenes being like, I'll do whatever you ask me. Like, I don't care who it hurts. Just like give me an opportunity. Like that's
Yeah,
the last person that I want in politics.
I
I want the guy that doesn't want to be in
for
politics.
sure
That's
that's
just like
right.
trying to make good decisions, good moral
I
decisions.
think where democracy comes into play is not voting for the person who's president, but when you're in high school,
Yeah.
everyone votes on your 50 personality traits, your spectrum, and you get an average score,
Yeah.
and then we figure out what the best score of that, all those different personality traits of
From every single high school, they go into the
right.
pool.
So then now each high school gets one representative.
Yeah.
And it's not like the most popular or the best or the smartest. It's
Nah.
like the best mix of
Yeah.
because you want someone with a little bit of mania,
Yeah.
not too much.
Yeah.
Someone with a little OCD,
Yeah.
not too much. Or someone who's smart, not
Yeah.
stupid, but not like
Yes.
too smart.
Yes.
Right?
Cool, not too cool.
You find that middle ground of every single thing.
Yeah.
Get that person. Then now you have a pool of all those people,
Yeah.
and you can then portray them to the American people and be like, hey, these are everyone's
I don't even
scores.
think we give them to the American people. I think they go straight
You
into
select
the
that random
pool.
because
Yeah.
now you're like, this is a good
Yes.
pool of
Yes.
people.
Like we're
It's
gonna
just
pick
so many,
someone
yeah,
pretty decent.
and you go random.
Yeah.
I think that's the way. The other way is you go back to monarchy, and then because that's the only way to actually get anything done,
Yeah, I agree.
as Curtis Yarvin would say, and he's the one who brought us Jeffrey Taubenberger fact that I started this episode with,
Love it.
and he would say, right, like right now we have a president who essentially can't even enact his agenda because anytime he wants to do something, there's like some like local
Check and
district
balance. Yeah.
judge that's able to veto him. And it's like, why is this unelected random judge in like some state able to veto the president
Yeah.
from doing anything? Nothing ever gets done,
Oh
no
yeah.
matter who the president is. And we just kind of keep going in the cycle. Whereas if you had a monarch,
Yeah.
like if you're in place like Dubai or Romania or
Yeah.
something where there's like a worse government,
Yeah.
maybe like if the street's broken and the person in charge goes fix the street, they fix
Yeah.
the street. It's not like, well, we need like a tax grant here
Yeah.
and we got the unions and
Yeah.
we gotta, be careful of the hours. Like that street just gets fixed.
Yeah.
So like stuff gets done.
No, I totally agree. That was my favorite part of House of Cards was there was like one line where like the guy that was pretending to be Putin was talking about the guy, Frank Underwood, who was pretending to be the United States of America, but that's actually a child pedophile.
Mhm.
But in that scene, the Putin character goes like, if people aren't happy with the job that you're doing, they like protest, or like tweet. And if people are unhappy with the job that I'm doing, they like storm the Capitol
A,
and kill.
a murder.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's so true. It's just like everyone hides behind, in our system, everyone hides behind the political curtain of like, I'm trying my best to get this
I mean,
done, but I can't get this
it's
done.
so
And it's just
tiring.
like,
Like,
yeah,
we know the game now because
yeah,
now a lot more information is out. So like with Epstein, it's like, oh, like every single side is just they just point fingers at each other, and
yeah,
it's like, oh, why isn't Trump releasing this? And then Trump's side is like, well, you guys had 4 years to release it. Why didn't you
yeah.
release it then? And it's like, oh, this person's trying to cover up for this person. It's like,
Well, it's the same thing with guns too. Yeah, it's like I think a lot of these, like big pharma, and a lot of these people realize if they just give money to both sides, then they can just get whatever they want. And
that's
it
what's happening.
doesn't matter what happens. Like when like the gun, what are they, the NRA?
Uh,
The NRA, when they figured out that if they just give money to both sides, then no gun legislation will ever be passed. And it's like there isn't even a discussion on it. It'll be like there'll be a school shooting with some unstable 19-year-old that has an AR,
million SSRIs.
Yes, they're on like medication and all this other stuff, and it's just like you'll have people on TV and you'll have people coming out, and it's like neither news network is saying we need to do something about this. Only like Steve Kerr came out and said something, and like these like non-political people will come out and say something, but all the politics are like, we need to do something about this. We need to do something about this. We need to do something without actually doing
You are
anything
the
about
one
it.
who needs to do it. No,
Yes.
like you just
Yeah.
don't say that you need to
Yeah.
do it, just do it.
Yeah. Like Biden, you're the
Right.
president.
Why are these crazy people taking SSRIs and shooting up schools?
Yeah.
Like, figure it out, do something.
Yeah. Make
But
it, I don't know, make it a little bit harder to get a fucking assault rifle. Like, just make it a little bit harder. Have you ever been on SSRIs? Like, okay, maybe an assault rifle's
right,
not
or
right for
make it
you.
a little bit um better screening process for who's
Yes.
getting the drugs, not just like yeah, every single person you come in,
Yeah.
it's like oh you're a little bit sad, like
SSRI.
here's the
Yeah.
drug, and then you do that, and then we're making popular culture make people feel so horrible about themselves
Yeah.
all the time, and everyone's upset and this and that.
That was one of the books we read talks about that, where he said, like, imagine a society where they make everyone so sad and depressed and then give them the medication to treat their sadness and depression.
But it feels like that's what they're almost trying to do because then everyone's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, because
Yeah,
then you're way less likely to like revolt and kill the guy that you're
totally.
talking
But I
about.
do think like everyone doesn't think that things are gonna go as bad as they potentially could go. Like nobody thinks they're about to be in the end. Like before, like Rome ended and some of these places ended, like
Yeah,
they had no idea probably that it was like that they were like so close to the end. It does feel a little bit like we're not that far away, the United States, from like
just losing, or at
complete
least like
control.
some kind of overhaul where
Yeah,
like everyone's like, okay, like we see what you've been doing the last 80
yeah,
years, CIA and FBI, like the
yes.
jig is up. Something's like
I just feel like so many of
there's,
the things we like
but
march for and get upset for are
it's the
just
wrong
so
things.
fucking
Like
stupid.
when we have the race riots,
Yeah,
and it's so dumb because you think a black billionaire and a white billionaire, when they park their yachts next to each other, are they upset? They're talking about how being billionaires. They don't give a
yeah.
crap if there's a race riot going on
No,
somewhere. But they may be in the backgrounds orchestrating that because now everyone's fighting each other
instead of
instead of
fighting the
wondering about
politicians.
why these two people on a yacht are banging kids on an
Yeah,
island
yeah,
somewhere. And they're like, hey, we're cool now because everyone's distracted.
yeah,
It's all just, everything's fake.
yeah.
Everything's a distraction. This is a good conversation, and it's giving too much credit to how bad this book was. I need to get back to it.
No, I do agree with that. All right, so
I want to check my notes.
see if we have anything we missed. The only other thing I have in here is that um a lot of these names were very similar to the names of Game of Thrones. Did you notice that?
There was a
Yeah,
Lancaster,
Lancastrian, and like a lot of them were very similar to.
I thought of Thrones a lot with it was like the claim, who has the claim to the throne? This person
Yeah.
thinks they have a claim, this person thinks
And
they
then
have a
there was like a
claim.
shame scene where like one of the kings just like shamed themselves instead of like facing any other consequences, where they like I don't think they walk through the streets naked, but they like shame themselves in some way. I don't
What a
know.
shame.
There was a couple of things where I felt like it was very like Game of Thronesy.
Oh, I have
Uh,
two more fun facts that I actually liked. Normandy, Northmen,
okay,
I'll allow it.
not bad.
And we call beef and pork instead of calling them cow and pig. So in the 1100s, only rich people ate meat, and all the rich people spoke French. And the French words for beef was boeuf, for pig was porc. So
Okay,
that's why we call them beef and pork instead of just cow and pig, like we call like a chicken a chicken.
that actually is really
But
interesting.
like that,
Yeah,
that was
I
both of
didn't
those
catch
were
that. I didn't catch
early
that.
on. That's when I
Yeah,
was like, hey, like
this might
this,
actually be
yeah,
decent.
this has a chance. He did say, he'd even say it. The 13th century was a period where anti-Semitism seems to wax and wane for no apparent reason. It's weird how that comes up in every book for
Yeah,
thousands of years.
he did
Just
mention
randomly comes
he did mention that, and I actually didn't write it down, and I wanted to write it down, and then all of a sudden it was gone. It was like two sentences.
right. Then he said, people who believe humans aren't causing climate change are fuckwits. But it's like, if that's what you think, that's totally fine.
Yeah,
But it has nothing to do with the kings of England.
and
So
also
like, why are
you're.
you? He's like sneaking in
Yeah,
his own political beliefs,
I agree.
which again is fine. If you want to
Yeah,
write a book about your political beliefs, then I'll read it,
yes,
and then we'll critique that book on your political beliefs,
industrial society.
industrial society.
Yeah,
But
guy was
don't
spot
write
on.
a book
Yeah,
about the kings of England
yeah.
and then sneak in all
I,
these things when I'm just trying to read about King Edward and King
I
Henry.
agree. I think it also takes away your validity as a historian that, you're saying all these other things that aren't necessarily facts. Like Shakespeare
100%.
was like the best ever, the best like writer of all time, and it's not debatable. It's like, first of all, it is debatable because anyone that was writing anything in freaking 1865, like if you try to compare them to someone that's a writer now, like if you took any average writer now and you put them into like 18,
Yeah.
like if you took like the director of Bad Boys and you just threw him into 1600 France, like I'm sure you'd write some decent shit back then.
For sure. Um, yeah, so I mean that was I just skipped my notes. That was all I had on this. I just my real bone is that I feel like his intent was bad. Like I give authors the benefit of the doubt every time. Like they put in a lot of work and
Yeah,
they did X, Y, and Z with a good intention. His intention was different.
yeah, I agree.
And that's oh, we got a person
Over.
there.
Yeah, new angle.
New
We wanted
angle.
to move away from the heater a little bit because we think the sound might have been picking up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Only an hour and a half in. This is our
Hey,
earliest visit yet.
I was
I called in.
hoping.
I phoned in because,
Oh, my phone's here.
yeah, I did a phone in. And I was like, you know what? It's been 2 hours.
Let's call.
I should probably
Hey.
get involved.
Yeah, we didn't. We got not a late start, but we probably didn't start until like 1 or 2:45
We've been driving around for an hour.
because she was sleeping.
Mm-hmm. We didn't sleep that
Hi.
good
Oh,
today.
hi to you, dog. I brought your bed down here and you didn't come down.
Oh, did
She
she eat yet?
she ate dinner.
Oh, she did already?
Yeah, she really really wanted it.
Uh,
Good morning.
how was Hoboken?
It was fun. It was windy.
So
Oh, it
cold.
was so
It
cold.
was
Were you guys
so cold.
outside or you just
They
walked
just
around?
like to get into like from the
Okay.
car into the apartment.
Yeah.
Steve went the no jacket route.
Of course. I was like, Steve's gonna come ready
Yeah.
to be outside.
I
No
went to the
jacket.
gym earlier, shorts and like short shorts.
Obviously.
And
Obviously.
I had to park like farther away, so I had like a minute walk to the gym, like a full minute walk. I actually threw on a jog.
The
Like
chill
that's how
was
cold it was.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. Like
It
I'm
like
usually pretty decent
right.
about it.
it like skips your skin level and goes like right
It
to your internal
hurts.
bones. Like
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Super uncomfortable.
She
We were just crying. We
I
woke up
see
because I
that.
stopped driving.
Oh
She's
no.
so
Want to
sweet.
show do you want to show the fans your cry face?
Yeah. Man, I didn't think we showed you what last time.
Nah.
This is very, very funny moment in podcast history. Well,
But
actually,
yeah, we're seeing Doug
Yeah, what's
every
going
day
on? Why are you
now.
seeing Doug
We've
every
never
day?
seen him
What?
ever.
Why is he coming around? Why didn't he come around the first time?
he was.
He
They were doing work in the street, and I
Oh, and
guess
he
they
was
need like
just
a
taking
cop
a side
station.
job.
Yeah.
And so what happened? How do you know you
Well,
did you?
they closed the street down, so I guess they needed the
Yeah,
cops to like just station it or
and
whatever.
we were
yeah,
just looking out the window, and
I
Paul's
looked
like,
at the
"That's
window. I
Doug."
was like, "Is that Doug?"
yeah.
Like he was just standing on our front yard.
Okay.
And then we go out there. I went out and I talked to him a bit. Then the next day, she sees him in town.
I was just
She's
walking to my coffee shop that I always go to, and he
Yeah.
was stationed outside of it because they were doing something in the
she
road there.
says,
Okay.
"Oh, Steve's coming over tomorrow for the podcast." And Doug goes, "What
And he
podcast?"
goes, "I don't know about a
I
podcast."
That's
said,
I
unacceptable.
said, "Oh."
I'm gonna have to talk to Jen about it
which
because
was
I
during the
know
last episode.
I do love it. I mean,
Man,
It's so cute.
I think it's
it
what our
is.
fans
That's what they want.
it's
If
what
you're
it,
at the hour 34 minute mark, you
yeah.
want to be hearing the ins and outs of what's going on.
The one thing I did that did happen with Doug was I said, "Now you know where we live," and he said, "I always do."
How do you know
I
that?
don't, I don't know. I didn't ask.
My people has chat about
Yeah.
Doug.
I never asked. I was like, "Oh
I'm
no."
gonna have to find out more on that.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right there. I was like, "Did he look it up? Has he been here before?"
And
I had a
it's
lot of questions and I didn't ask them.
and it's funny, like my mom will say, like, where did Paul buy the house? And like I don't know the street or the
No, you're
number.
like original.
So I'll just be like, all right, so you go to the church that's on the corner
There's
past
like
Jersey
a church
Mike's.
every
Yeah.
single floor.
Then you take a right, you go all the way down. Then
Yellow.
there's like yeah.
But
And
if
I
you
was
see
like, there's
yellow, stop.
there's a little arch, like there looks like there's a fence
Uh-huh.
that's gonna
Uh-huh.
extend to the it doesn't. It
It doesn't.
stops
It
right
doesn't.
there. Yeah.
It's our house. You're like yellow, it's there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I know.
What's funny is I didn't even give her yellow, so there's almost zero chance
Should
that
ever.
she would be like, all right, that's the house and the
Uh-huh.
number. So I don't know.
Never.
I'm sure you knew you guys lived here. I'm sure I mentioned that, but
You might have told him before, like, oh, I was on hold.
hey,
I'll get it.
you're gonna read a book?
Yeah. Are you a
Are
reader?
you gonna read? What do you think about the Kings of England?
Yeah, you're the same pain as us. Did you poop in your pants before? Because that's what this book was.
She did.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, is it a bad? It gets a bad rating.
This one
We're about to
was
rate.
really tough, yeah.
Ooh.
All right,
Ooh.
so what do you have it? Because I feel like sometimes maybe I'm too nice to these books, to these
I think I'm
writers.
always too nice on the rating.
But mine, I don't know, maybe it's too nice, but I 3.2.
Yeah. So the one I had in my head, rating I had in my head coming in
Yeah.
was a 2.5.
I think we're
Like
right in the
2.75,
middle.
we'll
Yeah.
call it. Because I think it almost should be lower, but I feel bad making it lower. Like I think it's a good reads too.
Oh my God.
Because if not, if you look at like our other Goodreads threes and fours,
They're
like
better than this.
I mean, it has to be.
Let's look.
Like I think for me, this is a below Road to Eleusis. Sorry, call. Maybe it's above People's History and The Barn. That's the only books I can think of. I think that were worse.
Um, yeah, let's look at it here.
And I do the same thing where I always give a higher rating because I like just
All
appreciate the
right, so
book
yeah, the
and the
barn was
author.
a 3. That's probably generous. The barn probably
Generous.
needs to be a 2.
Re-rate that.
Like it really was bad. I think it was early on in our
That's the only other author I didn't like because he pulled a very fast one on us by being white the
yeah.
whole time,
And then at
which I
the
didn't
end, it was just like
appreciate.
he was trying way too hard
It
to.
was yeah, it was a little nauseating. That's we purposely didn't write that one up on our Substack.
Yeah, that's one of the few we haven't.
Yeah.
All right, so that goes to a 2. So
Yeah.
Seven Sword Mountain 2. I think that's right. It
Okay.
just kind of was a nothing book for me. People's History 2.
I think this is
I think
people's
that's right.
history.
Yeah, I'd put it in that. The End is always near. I thought that was better than this 3. Dark Matter 3. Book of Witches 3. Yeah. Road to Uses.
I think Book of Witches was like a 5 and a 1.
Wow. I'm shocked that we gave Barbarians at the Gate the Nabisco story a 3.
What do you think it should have been?
I guess high threes. I guess that's the thing. It's like that's high
Right.
threes.
So
Road
then
to Ulysses's low
in
threes.
Goodreads, when you can't round,
Yeah,
if you put that up to a four, it's the same as Bad Blood.
I know.
That's
I
that
know.
man king.
I
That's
know. We gotta change. Like we should be writing a letter to Goodreads every single day
yeah.
until. I mean, a letter might not get it done because they'll probably just throw it right away when they say who it's from. But we should be doing something to make them reconsider that rating system. Like that's unacceptable. And that also leads to
At
I
least
think
in books like this having like a 4.5
yes, we're
is
reading this at like a 4.27 because there's a bunch of like Shakespeare loving idiots that give it a 5 and then everyone else like tries to nicely give it a 4 because they didn't understand it
yeah,
and maybe some that give it a 3. Like that's where we're giving it a like we're talking between a 3 or 2 and it's like we hated it.
right. And
So
that's us being nice, I think. Like I think
yeah.
you can make an argument. I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it out
I
loud.
think the
You can make an
topic
argument for worse than two.
the topic is interesting enough that it's hard for us to really drop it into it. But,
We just haven't breached below two yet, so I don't.
yeah.
We should maybe say that for something
I think
absurd.
I think 2 is right, but I do
I think it's
think
right.
like this is
I'm
it's
being
getting
rushed, but
crazy for us. Like it's hard to put these like you said, it's hard to put these in a list
we
when
got to get the
you
big board
yeah, we do.
one of these days.
That was
Okay.
one of the best purchases I've ever made, by the way, is having like a big whiteboard in my living room.
We got to
It's the
maybe
only thing up on every single one of my walls.
maybe I'll come next time.
Big whiteboard.
We rank them,
Yeah.
and that's the background.
We take a picture of it. We go to CVS, we blow it up,
Blow it up.
and then hang it up.
I just feel bad that you always come here.
No, I don't mind.
I'm happy to go there. But any last minute thoughts?
Um, yeah, I mean, 2 weeks in between was a little bit of a
Oh,
grind a little
did
bit
you
this
read
morning.
all of Electro-boy today?
No, so
Oh yeah.
I had been reading it throughout the week, but I was at like such a good pace, and then Sunday I got incredibly hungover.
Okay.
So Sunday was completely gone.
Shot.
Shot done. Lost day. Monday, still feeling bad about myself. Still like
Shot.
just wanted to like eat shitty food and then just like call it a day. Shot. So then all of a sudden you're like up to Tuesday, and you're like, oh, I got time in both books, but it's just like reading 30 pages before bed. I think is like my sweet spot.
I only read Electro-boy before bed. I would just read
Yeah,
like over 2 weeks, every night before bed, like 10 to 15 pages,
yeah.
like 10
I
minutes.
think this morning I had
So
like a
Unruly was harder
hundred
to
and
get through because I was like, I'm
see, but
giving up
that's at
podcasts to
least like
listen to this
yeah, that's at least like an audio though, where it's like you can at least like
thing. And
grind it in the car
I
and
got to a point where I was like, if I start missing stuff, because I was with you, where I was like,
yeah,
I'm not focusing, I'm
yeah,
tuning out. Where I was like, I don't care if I tune out. Like,
yeah.
I just need to get to
Just
the
be
end because I
done
have
with
my,
it.
I
Yeah.
have the opinion.
But Electroboy, I probably had like 120 pages this morning.
Today,
Yeah.
out of, it was you the hard copy
So
here.
it's 277.
It was 277 hard
Yeah.
copy.
So it wasn't too bad
I
because it really is an easy read.
If
Like it
we could get
really,
on a two book to
I
two
know.
week rhythm,
Yeah. But
these
I'm
books are
really gonna
pretty
have to be
quick. If
like,
we have like two 25-hour books, like it's not
yeah.
going to happen
No, I
probably.
agree.
But
I
these
think
two books I think are
like
doable.
10 hours probably what that would have been on audio is very doable in two
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah.
And it keeps us moving.
I even like the idea though of a little bit of like Abriana has a lot of times where she has like the hard copy, but then also has it on audio. And I think I would have loved that for Electro-boy, like especially today,
That's
because
what
it's
we
like
invented last time.
I know.
So guess what I saw today? Jump between the book or ebook and the audiobook. Use your camera to match your progress from the book page to the audiobook and back again. Spotify beta. So they're coming up with the technology to flip
To
between
do
a
that.
hard copy and the audio, which
Yeah,
is awesome.
it is.
We invented it last week with the
Yeah,
record show,
yeah,
along with water.
yeah.
But I'm
I
happy there. I'm
still,
happy someone's doing it. If it's not us, I'm happy someone else is doing it.
it's weird. I still haven't heard anything about that.
The water.
Yeah,
You'd think people would be writing in and
people
be
be
like, "Hey,
work,
here's why you can't invent water."
people be working on it right now.
There might be. The top people at the government are like, these
Yeah,
kids just invented water out in Jersey.
because you know what's crazy is like I heard Hamilton Morris talk about this, and I think it's so fascinating. It's like there's xenon gas or
Yeah,
like
xenon. It's a,
Xenon?
I think it's a noble gas. I guess maybe a 12th periodic table.
Like one of those
Why not?
gases gets you like super hot, and it turns your like voice like super deep. So it's like the
Oh,
opposite of helium.
interesting.
And like it's like natural in our atmosphere at like a point whatever percent. But like they're able to take that out of the atmosphere, put it into a canister, and like get high off of it. And it's just like, why are we not doing that with water?
Is that what they're doing with their tax dollars? Just
Yeah.
getting high on xenon.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well,
Wrap it up and
let's go upstairs. Let's upload this. Let's pick two more books.
we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll see. Hopefully, we see you in 2 weeks, depending on what books we pick and
Yeah.
Steve's reading speed. And we'll go from there. Hopefully, this recorded.
Yeah.
And as always, if you're with us at this point,
God
God
bless.
bless and come join next time.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.